Hi, I'm Amber Pilkington, Catholic therapist, wife, and mother. And today, Noelle and I are answering the internet's questions. Why do Catholics kneel so much? Is it a workout or prayer? You're not wrong. Catholic Mass is kind of like holy Pilates. We sit, we stand, we kneel. It's practically interval training for the soul. But here's the deeper reason. The body and the soul are one. When we kneel, the body tells the heart, pay attention, something greater is here. Psychology backs this up. Posture changes emotion. We have studies that show that physical humility lowers stress hormones and increases oxytocin. That's the same bonding chemical that helps us connect in prayer or when we love on our pets. So yes, your quads might burn, but your brain and soul are syncing up. It's not just exercise, it is embodied reverence. If God already knows everything, why do I need to pray? Oh, the classic, God already knows, so why bother question. It's kind of like asking, my mom knows I love her, do I still have to call her? Remember that prayer isn't about updating God's information. He's not up there like, oh, wow, you got a job? Thanks for the memo. It's about relationship. Neuroscience shows that when we speak our feelings out loud, especially in gratitude or lament, our brain's emotional centers calm down. Prayer does the exact same thing. It helps us change, not God. We become more aligned by his love, less driven by fear, and more able to notice his presence in the small stuff, like a good cup of coffee after morning prayer or the snuggle of a cute little chihuahua. Can the saints hear us, like all of us? That sounds like the world's most stressful group chat. Imagine getting billions of notifications a day. Even the most patient saint would mute that chat. But here's the thing. The saints aren't bound by time or space like we are. The Catechism teaches that in heaven, love is perfected, which means we're not limited in the way we are now by exhaustion or attention span. If you've ever prayed for a friend and felt peace, that's a tiny echo of how the saints intercede. It's not a cosmic call center. It's more like Wi-Fi powered by love, always connected and zero lag. Does forgiving someone mean I have to be friends with them again? Oh no, forgiveness is not the same thing as refriending someone who ruined your peace. Psychologically, forgiveness means releasing the resentment that keeps you stuck, not pretending that the hurt didn't happen. Even Jesus forgave on the cross. Forgiveness is freedom for you. Reconciliation, that's another step that takes trust and safety and mutual healing. Forgiveness takes one, reconciliation takes two. So yes, forgive, but you still get to block toxic people in the name of emotional sanity. Why do I overthink everything, even prayer? The spiral of overthinking. You sit down to pray and suddenly your brain's like, did I close the garage? Is that distraction a sin? Am I praying wrong? Where did the chihuahua go? Welcome to the Catholic nervous system, also known as the committee that never adjourns. Here's what's happening. Anxiety turns the brain's default network, your what-if system, into overdrive. Prayer, which should be the rest, becomes another performance review. The solution isn't to pray harder, it's to pray softer. St. Teresa of Avila called it a simple gaze upon God. Let go of the checklist and just sit with him. Neuroscience shows that contemplative prayer actually quiets the prefrontal cortex, lowering anxiety and increasing parasympathetic calm. So the next time your brain won't hush, remember, God isn't grading your grammar. He's just glad that you showed up. Why does Catholic guilt feel so heavy? Because we've turned conviction into condemnation, and those weigh very differently. Healthy guilt is like a smoke alarm. It warns you that something's off so you can take care of it, but toxic guilt, that's the alarm that keeps blaring long after the fire is out. Psychologically, chronic guilt triggers cortisol and shame cycles that make it harder to change. And spiritually, the devil loves that because shame says you're too dirty to come home. But Jesus says, let's clean the kitchen together. The Catechism calls contrition sorrow with the purpose of amendment, not self-destruction. So when guilt pulls you towards mercy, it's grace. When it keeps you stuck, it's a lie. You don't need to feel bad longer to prove love. You need to return sooner to love himself. Why does scrolling social media make me anxious, even when it's all Catholic content? First of all, Thank you for subscribing to the Catholic Counseling Institute, but it's because even holy comparisons are still comparisons. Every swipe says, look how peaceful they are in adoration while you're eating cereal at 11 p.m. with pajama pants. Dopamine spikes keep you hooked, but research shows that the constant upward social comparison actually lowers self-esteem and increases anxiety. Spiritually, it's the modern version of Peter looking at John and saying, what about him? And Jesus replying, what is that to you? Follow me. So curate your feed like your prayer life. Choose voices that uplift, not shame. And remember, nobody's sanctity fits in a square. Real holiness happens off camera, in the ordinary, unseen moments that God loves the best. Why do Catholics love routine so much? It feels kind of boring. Because boring isn't bad. It's stabilizing. The church gives us liturgical seasons, daily prayers, even the rhythm of bells and feast. It's like divine CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. Our brain craves predictability. Routines calm the amygdala and anchor the nervous system. That's why monks strive on structure. It's not monotony, it's mastery. When life feels chaotic, routine becomes the trellis where your soul can grow safety. It creates containment. So yeah, maybe the Angelus feels repetitive, but repetition is what forms muscle memory, and holiness is muscle memory of the heart. Is it okay that I don't always feel close to God? Absolutely. Even the saints had spiritual dry spells. Saint Therese called a tunnel without light. Emotions are signals, not sacraments. The brain's reward system naturally adapts. So the same prayer that once felt euphoric can later feel flat. That's how we build endurance, not dependence. Spiritually, it's like marriage. Feelings spark the fire, but fidelity keeps it burning. Mother Teresa once wrote that she felt abandoned for decades, but she stayed. That's love maturing from infatuation to communion. So if you don't feel God right now, don't panic. You're not losing your faith. You're deepening it. Silence isn't absence. It's often an invitation. Why do I feel more distracted when I try to pray than when I'm on my phone? Because your brain has been trained by your phone to expect fireworks, and prayer is like candlelight. When you scroll, dopamine hits every few seconds. When you pray, you're invited into silence, which the dopamine-deprived brain interprets as bored. It's not that you're bad at prayer. It's that your nervous system might need some detoxing. So try this. Before prayer, sit still for about 60 seconds and breathe slowly. Research shows that intentional slowing activity activates the parasympathetic nervous system. Basically, it tells your brain peace is safe. Prayer isn't supposed to compete with entertainment. It's supposed to retrain our attention back to the present. Why do Catholics say so many memorized prayer? Shouldn't prayer be spontaneous? It's both. Think of it like music. Spontaneous prayer is jazz. Memorized prayer is like a symphony that's been perfected over centuries. When emotions are high or low, having words keeps your soul anchored. Psychologically, repetition activates the calm rhythm networks in the brain. It lowers heart rate and increases our focus. Spiritually, it unites us. You're not just praying alone, you're praying with a billion voices across time, saying the exact same words. Even Jesus prayed words from the Psalms, which were remembered prayers. So yes, God loves your jazz improvisation, but sometimes he just wants to hum along with the classics. Why does anger feel like a sin, even when I know it's not? Probably because somewhere along the way, we confused feeling anger with acting out of anger. Anger itself is morally neutral. It's just data. Psychologically, it's your brain saying something matters here. Even Jesus flipped tables, not because he lost control, but because he loved deeply, and injustice hurt that love. The Catechism calls anger righteousness when it seeks justice without hatred. So instead of asking, should I feel this, try asking, what is this feeling trying to defend or tell me? Holy anger is passion under discipline. It's emotion guided by why does it hurt so much when someone ghosts me, even if we weren't that close? Because your brain doesn't measure pain by the duration of the relationship. It measures it by expectation. When someone disappears without closure, your attachment system stays in alert mode, scanning for resolution that never comes if you're ghosted. Neuroscience calls it ambiguous loss. Your brain grieves something it can't name. Spiritually, it echoes the ache of separation we feel from perfect communion. So no, you're not too sensitive, you're just human. You're designed for connection, not confusion. The healing starts when you give yourself the closure that they didn't, a gentle acknowledgement that you deserved clarity and not silence. I think that's it for today. How'd we do, Noelle? If you have any questions that you would like me to answer, make sure that you submit them with the form in the description. Until next time, there's always a place for you and your questions on the Catholic Couch.